You know, there's something most people have almost completely lost, and it's not discipline, not motivation, not even confidence. It's trust in your own rhythm. And if we're honest, most people are no longer living in their own rhythm. They're living in someone else's, in a borrowed pace, in a forced speed, where everything has to be faster, more productive, more efficient, where slowing down feels like falling behind. And you feel this. Every time you open social media, you see people doing more, earning more, achieving faster, and something inside you tightens, like you're not there yet, not doing enough, not moving fast enough. So you start pushing yourself, even when you're tired, even when you have no energy. You keep going, because you feel like you have to. And at some point, you stop hearing yourself completely. And this is where the real problem begins. You lose connection with your own rhythm. And when that happens, you lose stability. Because your rhythm is not about speed. It's about how you move, what pace actually feels natural to you, how much load you can handle. When you need pauses, what feels sustainable. And when you ignore that, inner conflict begins. Let's make this very real. First situation, you plan your day. You write a to-do list. Everything looks fine. But the moment you look at it, there's a slight tension inside. Like, this is too much, but you ignore it and start anyway. First hour, okay. Second, harder. Third, you feel drained. Then procrastination kicks in. You scroll, you avoid, you delay. And you think the problem is discipline. But the truth is, you went against your rhythm. Second situation, you start something new. A project, a habit, a new direction. At first, you go fast, full of energy. You do a lot. But a few days later, your energy drops suddenly, and you don't understand why. But the reason is simple. You chose a pace that isn't yours, and your system can't sustain it. Now here's the most important part. How do you rebuild trust in your own rhythm? Not in theory, but in real life. First, start noticing, not your results, but your state during action. Today, while doing anything, ask yourself, does this pace feel natural, or am I pushing myself? Be honest. This is your foundation. Second, allow yourself to slow down, but not in an extreme way. Not quitting everything, but softening your speed inside the action. For example, you're working, usually trying to go faster. Now consciously slow down by 10 to 15%, just slightly, and observe. At first, anxiety may appear, like you're losing time, but then you'll notice more calm, more clarity, and something interesting happens. The quality doesn't drop. Sometimes it even improves. Third, add pauses, not when you're already exhausted, but before that, even if you feel like you can keep going. Pause. Just stop. For 1 minute, 2 minutes. No phone, no distraction. Just check in with yourself. It seems small, but this is how you rebuild connection. Fourth, stop comparing your pace to others. This is one of the biggest traps. You don't know the cost of their speed. You only see the result, not their internal state. And when you try to match them, you lose yourself. And here's what's important. When you return to your own rhythm, at first it feels like you're doing less, moving slower. But that's an illusion, because over time, something powerful happens. You become stable. You stop burning out. You stop quitting. You stop falling back. You just keep moving, calmly, steadily, consistently. And that's what creates real results. Not intensity, but sustainability. And if right now you feel a bit calmer inside, that means you're already reconnecting with your rhythm. And that's what matters most, because this is where real growth begins. If this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe, because this is where you start understanding yourself on a deeper level. And hit like one. So this video can reach people who are tired of forcing themselves, because there is another way. And remember, anything is possible.